Pedro Pascal is a versatile American actor and a global icon who has brought some engaging performances that captivate the audience. Through his breakthrough in Game of Thrones and exceptional work in The Mandalorian and The Last of Us, Pascal used his charisma and depth to redefine how fictional characters can be brought to life. But what if he steps into the Demon Slayer universe and gives up on his Beskar armor for Nirchin Blades? Join us as we explore if he could be a stoic Hashira leading the Demon Slayers or an elusive demon who defies all the boundaries. Sit tight, hold on to your Nichirin swords, and let's begin. In the entertainment world, Pedro Pascal's rise to fame is pretty sensational, starting with some memorable supporting roles like in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He hit the heights by playing Oberyn Martell in Game of Thrones, a character that was both charming and unpredictable. Since then, he has been a popular name, playing characters that make one experience: strength, resilience, and emotional depth. The key in Pedro's work is that he connects to those roles and makes them feel real and heartfelt. His characters tend to create a line between vulnerability and resilience, which are strongly attractive to an audience who have continuously found layers beneath their stoic exteriors. Pascal brings humanity to even the most fantastical scenarios, whether that's saving Grogu from an Imperial remnant in The Mandalorian or through the post-apocalyptic wasteland of The Last of Us. With the traditional awards in his journey, his cultural impact is undeniable. His honor and widespread acclaim speak for the influence he has created. Pascal is one of Hollywood's most in-demand celebrities, and his roles are usually big talking points around the globe. Beyond the screen, his personality is warm, and his advocacy for diversity is admirable both in and out of character. Because of his balance of strength and sensitivity, Pedro Pascal becomes a natural fit into the Demon Slayer universe. With physical prowess and emotional wisdom, he could meld into the role of a Hashira, a seasoned warrior who protects the weak, or he could also play the role of a demon with a haunting history. His knack for presenting morally vested characters that are torn between humanity and his monstrous instinct. Imagine Pascal's powerful voice fills the ears of young demon slayers in battle, or during a poignant soliloquy of a tormented demon looking back over his past. With this level of depth and his ability to channel deep-seated emotion, his performance would add a profound impact on the Demon Slayer narrative. As we reimagine Pascal within this universe, one thing is clear: whether he's a noble Hashira struggling for justice or a demon lost to sorrow, his blend of dignity and hope would make his character stand out. It would elevate the world of Demon Slayer to new heights. If Pedro Pascal were to be a Hashira, his resilience and steady determination would definitely make him a sand Hashira, a guardian shaped by the unforgiving embrace of the desert. His mastery of sand breathing would showcase his ability to the ever-shifting sands that would become the symbol of his life. Growing up in a secluded village at the end of an endless desert would mean that his survival depended on creative thinking and descent. His family would have been famous for craftsmanship and would be known for creating complex glasswork from the sands of the desert, and that would teach him patience and precision. The days would be filled with warmth and purpose, and family bonds would be the foundation of his identity. And then, with one devastating night, everything would tear apart. In the village, lured by the beauty of the glasswork, a demon would come, raining destruction upon the place. Pascal would try to fight back desperately to protect his family, but the demon's power would fail him. Under the rubble of his home, he would be left to die, awakening to a world stripped of its light and meaning. Left with nothing but a little hope, Pascal would go around the desert as a lone man filled with grief and guilt. Under the sun, punishing his body, his spirit would hold on to the dim hope of redemption. The stone Hashira would come across him at this time. He'd see the strength and resilience in Pascal, as he is surviving alone in the desert. Pedro would train under the Hashira, and with the Hashira's guidance, his pain would be channeled through his power. He would take inspiration from the ever-changing nature of the desert and adapt sand breathing, which is a derivation of stone breathing, and is fluid and unpredictable like a dune. His journey of becoming a Hashira would be full of challenges. His resolve would be tested at each battle and forced to confront the shadows of his past. But with these trials, he would become stronger and rise to become the Sand Hashira, whose very name would come to inspire hope and awe. His deep connection to the desert would come out in his breathing techniques. His first form, Shifting Dune, would unleash a rapid stream of sand in the form of a sweeping emerald slit that would send blasts of sand into his enemies with uncontrollable force. Desert Mirage would be his second form, which would produce illusory copies of himself inside of a swirling haze of sand, tricking his enemies and attacking from out of nowhere. When in moments of great peril, this would allow him to summon the third form, Sandstorm Fury, a swirling vortex of sand covering his enemies and throwing disorienting shots at them. In his fourth form, Embrace, he'd create a barrier of sand that absorbed attacks and would shield his allies. And with his fifth form, Sands of Time, when it served him, it would stall the battlefield just long enough for him to strike back or strike first. His sixth form, Quicksand Trap, would catch any enemy ever so helpfully, ensnaring him in a patch of sinking sand that anyone who gets caught up in would not be able to escape. escape. Desert Guardian's roar would be his pinnacle technique, spending all of the desert's raw power in a massive sweeping attack that would smash multiple enemies, knocking them back and rallying his allies to fight with renewed determination. His Haori as a Hashira would be embellished with the beauty of the desert, its tan slowly being crossed by gold and orange as the sun settles into the horizon in the desert. Subtly shimmering patterns of wind-swept sand would appear across the fabric, portraying the shifting yet enduring nature of the environment. His weapon would be a naginata, and it would have a blade glistening like polished sand with intricate gold accents signifying strength, hope, and power. With his wide-brimmed hat and scarf, he would stand out from all of the Hashiras, while giving a rugged and mysterious look. Pascal would show great strength and empathy. His humor and warmth would be a source of comfort for his comrades, and his unwavering resolve would leave no doubt of his abilities. He would be both a protector and a mentor, always protecting others so they would never go through the pain he once went through. Pedro Pascal as the Sand Hashira would give us a testament to the strength of survival. He would show that even if the worst that life had to offer was unleashed, one could still rise and build back strong. Imagine if, instead of joining the Demon Slayers where once he was a protector for those who could not protect themselves, Pascal, due to heartbreak and betrayal, became a demon. Pascal devoted most of his life to protecting the innocent, but a great tragedy would strike when those closest to him, consumed by greed and fear, would betray him to save their own skins. They would tarnish his name and have him cast out. Unable to resist his thirst for vengeance, over time he would succumb to the rage that fueled him. At this lowest point in his life, he would meet Muzan Kibutsuji. Muzan would be able to recognize the great level of pain and desire for justice existing in him. Muzan would offer Pedro a chance to gain the power he needed to kill his betrayers. Pedro would go on to accept it because he would be filled with revenge and would turn into a demon. As Upper Moon 4, the Sentinel Demon would embody both a dutiful protector and a destroyer's power for revenge. With only his past life warped to aid him in his thirst for vengeance, he would be the shark that hunted down the betrayers with his strength and strategic mind. And instead of the defender of the innocent, the Sentinel Demon would be a being of great power and sorrow. Great, but filled with sorrow. With a striking appearance as a Sentinel Demon, he would be powerfully tall, with long flowing capes that look like rips and banners. The spaces between the glowing runes in his robes would be of deep blues and grays, symbols of vows he once kept. He would contain wisdom in his silver-streaked amber eyes, cut with sadness, and burned with fury, all as a reminder of what he'd lost. His blood demon art would be a blend of defense and attack, mirroring his nature as both a guardian and an avenger. His most powerful abilities would include Sentinel's Shield, a barrier that would glow, blocking enemy attacks, and then send them back 3 times as strong. Swift Strike. It would be a quick and precise attack that would overwhelm his enemies with speed and skill, and would always keep himself safe. Runic Trap, a move that would make glowing symbols on the battleground, making it virtually impossible to see, much less combat against him. Ghostly Protector, a move in which he would call up a ghost image of himself, a shadowy knight, one that would scare his enemies and make them crumble to their knees. His ultimate move. Here he would slam all of his anger out in a huge shockwave that rocks the ground and freezes his enemies in fear. He would be powerful and fearsome, but his old self would peek through. Despite all that power, he wouldn't want to hurt, but he would be bound by his anger and his loyalty to Muzan. His interactions with the Demon Slayer Corps would be intense, especially when it's Tanjiro Kamado. He would be reminded of his past self when he would see Tanjiro's pure-hearted determination to protect others. Their battles would be more than physical. They would challenge his beliefs, forcing him to question whether he could ever be redeemed. The Sentinel Demon would be a tragic one. His tale would be one of power and revenge, but also an eerie story of how one loses themselves in despair. He would stammer at the thought that even in the darkest depths, a flicker of hope may never be killed. His journey would be a cautionary tale about falling into the perils of betrayal and the all-consuming nature of rage. Below the darkness, a little bit of him would still seek peace, no matter how hard that is. It would also speak of resilience on his part, as he teeters on the edge of redemption. The Sentinel Demon would remind all that even the strongest are not immune to heartbreak, but healing remains a possibility for those who seek it. Pedro Pascal would portray protection and resilience as a Hashira, and as a demon would embody the tragedy of revenge. The depths of his complex characters show a beacon of hope and shadow of despair. Which side do you think suits him better? Let us know in the comments below, and if you liked this video, subscribe for more.